What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing some battles in the Little Cup submitted to the channel by Papa Legbar88, who's running a triple shiny team with Nosepass, Seel and Drifloon. Now these battles were submitted to the channel from the previous Little Cup rotation, so do just bear that in mind. Of course, Nosepass gets completely walled by Bronzor, but it can deal with most of the other Pokemon in this meta like Ducklet, Vulpix and even Dino, so as long as you've got two Pokemon in the back that can deal with Bronzor, Nosepass can seriously put in some work. With that being said, let's get into the question of the day. What's your favourite shiny Pokemon that you think looks better in its base form rather than when it evolves? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so going into the first battle, we lead Nosepass into Ducklet, a very good lead for the Nosepass. We are hitting for massive, super effective damage with these rock throws. Of course, Bubble Beam will be super effective as well, but it doesn't do too much damage. It will debuff our attack, but we don't care. We can commit to a full rock throw farm down, come out with a ton of energy, and likely pivot into the Seel straight away, and that's exactly what we do. The opponent comes in with Dino before swapping into a Shelmet, so this might be a little bit tricky here. We're going to go straight for an Icy Wind. Icy Wind will debuff their attack, meaning their charge moves are going to hit for a lot less damage. We are going to choose not to commit a shield here. The opponent full sends the Bug Buzz. We do barely make it to an Aqua Tail before they reach a Body Slam to take us out, and that will get the Shelmet into range where we can farm them down with our Drifloon. So we are just fully going to let the Seel go down. Haven't used a shield yet in this battle, neither us or the opponent, but now we will be able to permanently debuff this Dino with an Icy Wind, and that will be really nice. It will allow us to make it to a second Icy Wind very comfortably in this matchup. So we're going to shield. It is just a Body Slam, but honestly these Dragon Breaths are seriously chunking, so Body Slam would put us at risk of being farmed down. Gonna shield a second Body Slam, go for an Icy Wind, and remember we did farm up a ton of energy on the Nosepass, so we can come back in, go straight for a Rock Blast up against the Dino. It barely doesn't take them out, but we're able to Rock Throw, farm down that Dino and take that game. So going into the next battle, we see Nosepass into Shadow Vulpix, another really strong lead. The opponent swaps into a Purloin, and I think we're just going to be able to shield once and fully farm them down. No, we're actually not even going to shield, just commit to the full farm down, and we do come out with a charge move loaded. We're actually going to bank the energy here. I think we probably just should have thrown a charge move there and then come in with the Seel, but this is absolutely fine as well. We let the first move go through, gonna go for an Aqua Tail into this Alolan Sandshrew. We grab a shield from the opponent, and let's see what we do here. The opponent throws just before we make it to an Aqua Tail, so very good timing. We're going to shield the Night Slash, but they swap back into their Shadow Vulpix, so this should be grabbing the final shield from the opponent, and it does. But they might be able to quick attack, farm us down, and they do get a massive farm down. That is not ideal. Let's see what we do here. We're going to come in with the Nosepass. We get to a charge move, but we do lose CMP, so we unfortunately are going to get off the Rock Blast here. Then I assume we're going to swap into the Drifloon. It actually doesn't take them out, so we get a Hex farm down, but I think this Sandshrew does have energy, and they do, but Night Slash doesn't quite take us out, and we're able to Hex farm them down. That was incredibly clutch there, and we do take that game. Into the next battle, we see a Sandshrew this time in the lead, so are we going to swap out straight away? Probably not, because we do have that Drifloon in the back, so just going to let this move go through. I wouldn't be surprised if we commit to another fast move farm down here, but we are, yeah, looks like we're going to do exactly that, and we should be able to get the farm down now. We get the Rock Throw through, and now if we get them down in 5 Rock Throws, then we do get a full farm down, and once again we can swap instantly into the Seel. And the opponent actually comes in with a Bronzor, so that's great for us. They now swap into their own Seel. I think this is looking pretty good for us now. We can go straight for an Icy Wind. It will debuff their attack as usual, and the opponent probably going to go for an Icy Wind of their own. So let's see. They do go for the Icy Wind. At this point, I would just go for another Icy Wind, but we're actually going to go for an Aqua Tail. I don't think it really makes too much of a difference here. The opponent's still going to have to throw a charge move to take us out, and that's exactly what they do. And now they're in range where we can easily come in with the Drifloon and farm them down before they get to another charge move, and we should just be able to go straight Shadow Ball in this matchup. We're actually going to build to the Shadow Ball and bait with an Icy Wind. I'm not so sure about this. These tackles are doing literally no damage to us whatsoever, although it will allow us to get to the charge moves a little bit faster. We are going to build up to the Shadow Ball once again and bait with the Icy Wind. I think it's really risky a second time, but we do grab the shield anyway, and now we swap into Nosepass. For some reason we go for a Rock Blast. That does literally nothing there. Not sure why we did that. They are still easily in range for a Shadow Ball to take them out. Gonna shield up the Psyshock there, and they are double debuffed anyway, so Psyshock wouldn't have taken them out, but we can go for a Shadow Ball, take out the Bronzor, and we take that game. So, a little bit slower for that transition, but into the next battle we see a Cottony in the lead. You would think this is an awful matchup, but it's actually not that bad. Of course, they're hitting for neutral damage with the charms, we're hitting for neutral with the rock throws. We go for a Rock Blast, they let it go through. Honestly, Rock Blast is a pretty awful move, so it doesn't do too much damage to the Cottony. We're going to let the C-Bomb go through, it takes us out, but they should now be in range where we can lick, farm them all the way down before they get to another C-Bomb, so that is huge for us. They now come in with Dino. We're going to bait with an Aqua Tail. Not sure about this. We want to debuff their attack. Of course, they will shield, and we will get to an Icy Wind, but we would have got there anyway. I think Icy Wind, just debuffing their attack, would be a lot more helpful, but we're going to see them fully farm us down. I'm not sure about this play either. I think we should have pivoted into the Drifloon as soon as possible. We are now going to have to shield up a Body Slam bait, and they make it to a second charge move. I think we have to call the Body Slam here. We don't. It is the Body Slam, and now we do finally make it to an Icy Wind, which I think we would have got off before they made it to a second charge move. We take out the Dino, and it is a Bronzor in the back. Now this is going to be incredibly close. Shadow Ball actually doesn't take out a Bronzor from full health, so can we make it to another charge move in time? No, unfortunately we cannot. This might be the payback. It is the payback. It takes out the Drifloon, and we do lose that game. So I definitely think that was a winnable game there if we'd have just pivoted into the Drifloon once we realized Seel wasn't making it to another charge move and prevented that massive farm down from the Dino. But speaking of Dino, we see it here in the lead. We are going to overfarm massively, go for a farm down. We don't quite get there, or at least it doesn't look like we would. So we do eventually throw a Rock Blast, and we throw just before they get to another Body Slam, so that's incredibly good timing. And now we're going to shield this up. We got the Rock Throw through, and now we do have switch advantage. Once again, we're going to throw that all away as we swap into our Seel straight away. I think, honestly, at that point, we're so low, I think we just let them farm us down, because if they have a good response to Seel, then this gets really tricky, or if they just swap out, preserve their Sandshrew for our Drifloon, then that would also make it very difficult. But here we are going to let this move go through. Night Slash doesn't take us out. They won't be able to farm down, so we do make it to an Aqua Tail in time. This should be enough to take them out here. And the opponent has a Vulpix, no, actually a Charmander. Maybe they led with Charmander, maybe I just wasn't paying attention here, but we're going to come in with the Nosepass. We don't make it to a charge move. Once again, a bit of a pointless swap in there, but that's fine. We can safely shield up this charge move. It is a Flame Charge. Now they shouldn't be able to make it to another move in time, so we go for the Shadow Ball, full sending the nuke, and Shadow Ball takes out the Charmander, and we take that game. So going into the next battle, we see Bronzor in the lead. Now we're going to have to swap straight away into the Seel here. They are running Confusion, which makes this matchup a little bit worse for us, but we can go for an Icy Wind, looking like it's a CMP tie as well. Icy Wind does debuff their attack. It is resisted, but I do actually prefer going for Icy Wind in this matchup because it does make the Confusion damage hurt a lot less. But they now come in with a Why Not. Going to go for another Icy Wind here. It is neutral, so I do think that going for Icy Wind in neutral matchups is the way to go, as we do debuff their attack. Now we're going to wait out the switch clock here, go for the Drifloon, and we should be able to let this move go through absolutely fine. We actually shield a debuffed Mirror Coat there. Not so sure about that decision. They do make it to another Mirror Coat, so maybe we would have had to shield one anyway. But that's fine, we're going to overfarm massively here, eventually go for an Icy Wind. We're nearly at the back-to-back charge moves. An Icy Wind from this range takes out the Why Not. They come in with a Dino. This is not looking too good for us now. We go for the Icy Wind. Icy Wind grabs a shield. We are going to commit to another Icy Wind, and we do get there, but I don't think there's any way we can take out that Bronzor with our Nosepass in the back, so I think this is just game over. We should just let this move go through. The opponent does go for the crunch here. We kind of have to commit to a full rock throw farm down, but even then, I just cannot see a way that this Nosepass can beat the Bronzor in the back. Yep, they've got so much health remaining. These confusions are absolutely chunking. We go for a Thunderbolt. It does respectable damage, but nowhere near enough to take them out there. And we do, unfortunately, lose that game. But into the next battle, we see a Dino in the lead. Gonna stay in this matchup, and let's just see how we play this out. The opponent gets to a charge move just before we make it to the Rock Blast. We're going to call a bait. It's actually the Crunch though, but we still hang on. We're going to go for the Rock Blast here. The opponent lets it go through. It does take out the Dino, and we do have switch advantage, but once again, going to instantly give that up. I'm really not sure about this. I liked it in some of the earlier battles where we did at least preserve a charge move or something, but in this case, there's no real reason to preserve that nose pass. Wow, I'm very good at talking today. But yeah, anyways, they come in with the Alolan Sandshrew, so I guess having double steel in the back is not too bad, and it's actually kind of good that they've swapped into it here, because obviously our Drifloon does not want to face the Alolan Sandshrew. And let's see what we do here. Are we going to let this move go through, or are we going to shield it up? We do shield it up, and now we've got to hope that they decide to let this move go through here, as if they farm us down, it will be very tricky, but they do shield it up. We swap into the Nosepass. This is going to be very difficult here. I think we have to come back in with the Seel, in all honesty, and we do. The opponent does actually throw their energy. That's huge for us. Hopefully we can get a farm down with the Hex damage here. But we're not able to, and we saw we did actually survive a Night Slash from the Shadow Sandshrew, so we also survived this. And can we get to the Shadow Ball in time? We barely make it, and is this enough damage to take them out? Yes it is, and we do take that game. So that was an incredibly close battle there, but we did still somehow manage to win that battle. Into the next game, we see Frillish in the lead. Now, this is not a super common Pokemon. I don't think it has any water charge moves though, so I think we should be able to let this move go through. And it is just an Ominous Wind, and they don't get the boost, so that's fine. We're going to farm up extra energy, throwing just before they make it to a second Ominous Wind. And Rock Blast doesn't quite take them out, but we're able to get the farm down. They now come in with the Bronzor, and this is a scenario where we've actually got quite a lot of health and a lot of energy. I think we should be pivoting out of this matchup, but we're choosing not to. Instead, we go for a Thunderbolt, and this is very clearly a much bulkier Bronzor than the previous one, as that did absolutely nothing. But they now come in with a Snow Runt here. We go for an Icy Wind, it's resisted, they let it go through, but it doesn't matter too much, as we can safely tank a Shadow Ball, and we should still be able to make it to an Aqua Tail in time to get rid of this Snow Runt. The Aqua Tail actually goes shielded here, and I think at this point we let the Seel go down and just come in with our Nosepass, go for a farm down, and then we should have the Drifloon aligned with a shield advantage into the Bronzor here, and we should be able to comfortably take this game. Now the opponent will make it to a charge move, gonna shield up the Psyshock, and we should be able to make it to back-to-back Shadow Balls in time, but once again gonna go for an Icy Wind bait. The opponent does actually call it, and that is huge for the opponent, and that's why I'm not too sure about going for the Icy Wind bait in this matchup. We then call the Psyshock bait, which is huge, and now at this point we probably can just go straight Icy Wind. The Hex damage will start to add up, and with that second debuff, we should barely be able to make it to a Shadow Ball in time. It's going to be incredibly close though, so let's see. We do commit to the Shadow Ball, we get there with a slither of HP remaining. Shadow Ball takes out the Bronzor, and we take that game. I actually think we got the new mechanic there. Not sure if we would have survived that confusion or not. It would have been very close. But into the next battle, we see a Ducklet in the lead. Pretty good lead matchup, we've seen it already. The opponent swaps into Seel, so we stay in initially. I don't think we should be doing this. I think we should have thrown a charge move or swap out, but we don't do either of those things. And now we come in with the Seel. We should be able to farm them down here. But yeah, I think we should have thrown a move there or just swap out trying to catch a charge move there, because now that Nosepass doesn't have an awful lot of health remaining. We're going to let the Icy Wind go through and we should be able to fully lick farm them down here, and we do get there before they make it to another charge move. They come back in with their Ducklet, but they should be able to just fully wing attack farm us down at this point, I think. It will actually be very close, so the opponent does actually decide to throw a charge move. They just go for a bubble beam, which I don't think helps them too much, although it does debuff our attack, meaning this Aquatel will do less damage to the Vulpix, but they end up shielding it anyways. And now here, it is pretty good that we did preserve the health, or at least some of the health, on our Nosepass, because we will now absolutely destroy this backline here. We go for the Rock Blast, grabbing the final shield from the opponent. We make it to another Rock Blast, but we lose the CMP tie. We're going to shield up the Body Slam, and this will now take out the Vulpix. And now, can we make it to another charge move in time? They actually make it to the Bubble Beam. From this range, it should be enough damage to take out the Nosepass. But now we just need to make it to the Icy Wind in time. And we do get there in time. And this will easily be enough damage to take out the Ducklet. And we take that game. So going into the next battle, actually battling against Hakwa, an opponent or a trainer that you quite often see featured on like Rise to the Occasion and Jamie Finn, often running Spice. They are running a Iggly buff here. And let's see, we're going to let this move go through, just a Body Slam bait. We can now go for the Rock Blast. Rock Blast should be enough damage to grab a shield. I guess I don't know if it would have been enough damage to take them out there, but we make it to a second Rock Blast in time, and this will definitely take them out from this range, or just grab both shields. So are we going to let this move go through once again? No, we will shield the Body Slam, but we're able to fully Rock Throw, farm them down, and the opponent just concedes the match. So I think this next battle might be the final battle of this video. So let's see, we lead Nosepass into another Ducklet, a very good lead for us. We're going to stay in, we've seen how this matchup plays out. We're going to let these bubble beams go through. We can safely tank 2 of them, commit to a full Rock Throw farm down, and come out with a ton of energy. But no, actually, we're going to change things up apparently, as we go for a Rock Blast, grabbing a shield from the opponent. That's also great, because we can still tank this bubble beam and commit to the full Rock Throw farm down just before they make it to a third bubble beam to take us out. We go for a Rock Blast here, and once again, this is a scenario where either we go for the Thunderbolt or we just swap out, but instead we go for a Rock Blast and then swap out anyway, so definitely don't agree with that play. But we can go for an Icy Wind, debuff their defense. They will let it go through. They might throw a charge move here and then swap out into their final Pokemon. So let's see. They go for the payback. It does big damage, and now we will be able to commit to an Aquatel just before they make it to another charge move. We go for the Aquatel. They let it go through as well, and they've got a Purloin in the back. We barely make it to a third Aquatel, and this should grab a shield from the opponent, and it does exactly that. Now this is really unfortunate, as a Night Slash probably would take us out. Purloin is quite glassy, and they make it to a second Night Slash before we get off the Icy Wind. That is really not great for us. But hopefully this Icy Wind puts them into range where we can farm them down, and it looks like it does exactly that, which is huge. And now it's just a race. Can we get to the Shadow Ball in time? We don't get there, but I think this might have been a CMP tie. So we go for the Icy Wind. It was a CMP tie, and that's massive because they're now in farm down range where we can come in with the Seel. We don't get the farm down, but we do get the farm down with the Nosepass, and we take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And as for my opinion, I'm going to go with Corphish. I think the shiny looks really nice, but the Crawdont shiny just doesn't really do it for me, so that's my opinion. If you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.